guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today I want to talk about the Canon EOS R, why I ended up picking this camera up. I'm not going to be going in order. This is not an in-depth or technical review on this camera. It's just right off the top of my head why I have fallen in love with this camera a lot and I'm sticking with this camera. So first of all, the reason why this has been very good as the second camera with my GH5 is because I'm already using a lot of Canon lenses on my GH5. I have the speed booster that goes on my GH5, so I can connect, I have the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter lens. I have the Sigma 35 1.4. I got a Canon 85 millimeter 1.4 also. So I got a few Canon lenses that I've been using already. So picking up this EOS R, it's just I buy one lens and I can use it in both systems. So to me, that is a huge money saver in the long run. Something else I do want to mention is my wife and I have been shooting a lot of photos, and every gig that we go, they're always asking us, oh, do you guys also shoot photos? And we do shoot photos, and when we had our Sony A7iii, we shot a lot of photos with it, apart from video. The Sony A7iii, when it came down to photos, the photos are perfect to me. Like, they were just really good. They were flexible with their color. Like, I was able to push colors. The dynamic range on the Sony A7iii still has been the best. The dynamic range on this EOS R is good, but I feel like on the A7iii, I can just overexpose my image like crazy, and when I would pull down the highlights, there's just, the face was just really clean. And so the dynamic range and the photo side of the Sony A7iii is something that I do miss. I enjoyed using a lot, but the Canon EOS R is good enough for me when it comes down to dynamic range. But what really sold me on the EOS R is the colors coming out of it. Yes, I know a lot of people talk about it's the best color science, the colors on the Canon are the best. I do agree with that, and I do think the colors coming out of this camera are really good. But me personally, my personal opinion, when it comes down to video, I enjoy the GH5, the Panasonic colors. I feel like those colors are a bit warmer and they're a lot faster, at least for me, to color grade, and they're a lot more flexible. Maybe it's because I've been with the GH5 for a very long time, so maybe it just seems easier for me. But still, the colors coming out of the Canon camera are really good. So now video. Video was something that this camera got a lot of heat for. A lot of people said video was just really bad. There's no 120 frames per second. It only goes up to 60, which I'm fine with, since on my GH5 I just shoot in 60 frames per second. I never really go to 120. 60 frames per second for me is good enough, so that wasn't a big deal breaker for me. And this does shoot, and it shoots in 24, 60, and it also goes up to 120, but the 120 is in 720p, which I've not personally tested it out myself. But video on this camera to me has been awesome. Like, honestly, it's my first Canon camera, and it's the first time that I get to color grade a Canon camera. And something I want to say is having C-Log in this small camera has been honestly the steal of the show for me. C-Log, color grading in C-Log has been so fun. And that right there gets me excited to test out something like the Canon C200, which has way better codec, which has way better, it lets you record in 10-bit, 12-bit. So I'm interested in color grading something like that. But again, the C-Log coming out of this EOS R has been so fun to color grade. Now it is, you would be color grading a 8-bit C-Log footage, which is not, is really good, but it's not as sharp or it's not as flexible. But the log coming out of this camera is not as flat, so hopefully that makes sense. You don't have to stretch out your colors as much. I feel like if you're gonna shoot in log, it's way better if you got 10-bit on your camera, because you can stretch your colors. You can get really flexible with your colors versus trying to color grade log footage in 8-bit. On my Sony A7iii, I had a huge problem with that. I would try to color grade S-Log in 8-bit, and I just did not like it. I could not find myself, and every time I would try to stretch out my colors, like the skin tones would just get nasty, and it just was not fun, and it was just a no for me. On the GH5, of course, it lets you shoot in 10 bits, so when I color grade my vlog, it's excellent, it's good, it looks clean, it's flexible, I can go this color, I can go that color. It's really fun. Now the C-Log coming out of here, yes, it is 8-bit, so you are somewhat limited, but it just looks so good. And one thing that I noticed is, honestly, just by raising my highlights and dropping my shadows, it just looks really good. And that is something that has like shocked me, and I have a lot of fun shooting with the C-Log in this camera. Now with that being said, like I said, it is an 8-bit. I do notice that it is not as sharp. It doesn't look really clean and crispy. Like it's really not. If I compare it to my GH5, it's not even a competition. Like there's no way I can compare it. But a lot of the times it's not all about like the sharpest looking quality. I find that once we get caught up in like what's sharper, this or that, like sometimes just the mood or the colors coming out of a camera could be just really appealing to certain type of videos. So that's definitely been something that really stood out for me, which I wasn't really looking forward with the whole video side on this camera. I thought, like, you know what, like it's gonna shoot video, but I'm not really too interested in it. But I've been shooting a lot of video with the EOS R, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Something else I do want to mention, if you guys do not want to shoot in log footage, just the natural picture profile in this camera looks really good. And if you guys don't really want to mess around with color grading, I think the natural picture profile looks really good right out of the camera. Actually, if you guys are just going to be shooting a natural picture profile, this camera's colors, yes, they do look better than the GH5's. If you guys don't even want to do no color grading. So it's been really good to shoot with. Now, something else I do want to touch up on is the autofocus. Autofocus, of course, this is reliable. I can use it. It just works. But I do feel like there's no perfect autofocus. Even though this autofocus has really good face detection, there is still some times where I'm following my subject and it gets in and out of focus. That's why I've stuck with the GH5, and I've never had a problem just living life with manual focus, because doesn't matter what camera I have, doesn't matter what kind of camera I use, autofocus is just not perfect. And even on my Sony A7iii, I think the Sony A7iii autofocus is a little bit better than this Canon EOS R. But even on the Sony camera, the autofocus wasn't something that I can trust if I'm gonna be doing a paid video. So I still kind of found myself using manual focus on these cameras. So yeah, guys, this is not an in-depth review of this. I'm not talking crazy specs or numbers or anything like that. It's just the things that stuck out to me the most out of this camera and kind of how I've been using it. I will probably do a follow-up video and showing you guys some of the settings that I have. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys found this interesting. If you guys do have EOS R or anything like that, let me know down in the comments how you guys are liking it, or if you guys are thinking of upgrading anytime soon into the EOS R, let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll catch you guys on the next video. All right.